people are so focused on, hey, what do I do? How do I optimize my business? How do I get fast drying sheets so I can lower my time that I spent with cleaners, reduce my costs? That's all important. When I started this business, I didn't know all that stuff, but I was still fully booked. What's more important is what you give to the customer, what you give to the guest. How do they feel when they speak to you? Are you genuine? Are you trying to just get the most revenue per available night? Or like, are you trying to really give them what they deserve?
This is episode number 11 of Short-Term Rental Success Stories. Welcome back to Short-Term Rental Success Stories. I'm your host, Julian Sage. This is a show where I talk to hosts about their journeys in starting and growing their short-term rental business. My goal is that you'll be able to walk away with practical information that'll help you become a better host and learn how to scale your business. Since we are a new show, reviews would greatly help us grow, so please go on over to iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, Facebook, or wherever you're actively listening, and please leave us an honest review, and we'll give your review or rental a shout out in the next episode. Today I had the pleasure of speaking with Amlan Mitra. Amlan currently resides and hosts in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, which has a population of about 50,000. Amlan has only been hosting for about 6 months, but has impressively scaled up to over 7 properties, all of which he's been able to buy, renovate, refinance, rent, and then repeat. Even though Amlan is in a small town, he's been able to maintain about 81 to 88% occupancy. In this episode, Amlan shares his secret, which is the BRRRR Method, and how it's been able to help him scale as quickly as he did. If you haven't done so already, go on over to our Facebook group, Short-Term Rental Success Secrets, to talk with Amlan and other successful hosts who are just killing it. If you like my show notes for this episode, go to shorttermsage.com/EP11, or if you'd like my show notes sent directly to your inbox every week, then go to shorttermsage.com/show notes. With all that being said, on to this week's conversation. Welcome back, host. Today I have the special honor of speaking with Amlan Mitra. Please let the audience know a little bit about who you are and what inspired you to get into short-term rentals.
Hey everyone, how you guys doing? My name's Amlan. So, I'm from a small town in Mississippi, Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And, we moved to the States when I was pretty young, and my family came here, not wanting to do real estate, but we kind of indirectly started doing real estate. Doing some long-term rentals, like, just lower income family homes, like some Section 8 homes. And I was managing my mom and dad's property from, early on, pre-Katrina. So kind of like had that feel, how to deal with customers, how to deal with guests, how to deal with tenants, how to deal with people in general. And it kind of gave me the skill sets, I guess, to be able to be a good host. It's like, be friendly, be genuine, and have something good to offer people. And even when it comes to, lower income families, a lot of times, everybody needs a nice place to stay. So being able to help them and give them something that's above the standard was something that our family was really into. Like, we wanted to give them something better than what they were used to from the beginning. So, and the morals that my dad and my mom really instilled in us, how to be a good person. Like, those really, I guess, like, we want to, present to our guests when we're hosting. So we kind of indirectly came into the short-term rental side of it. I had a breakup anyways, but long story short, we had a big house, six bedroom house. We put that on the rental market, and I moved into a smaller home, and I was there, probably just on the weekend, sometimes traveling, visiting with my parents. So when I wasn't there, I just kind of placed it on Airbnb. One of my friends suggested it, and sure enough, overnight, the thing took off. And, I never thought, in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, which would be, not the, I guess, like tourist spot, hotspot, that something like Airbnb would be so successful. So, one piece of advice is don't go with just the flow with everybody, just think outside the box, and you never know where your success may come from. And it's just, the world will kind of open up doors for you, and you have to just take them as you go. And you never know which door will lead you to the most success in your life. And sometimes, when you have things that really affect you negatively, you might be thinking, oh man, just went through a breakup, a divorce, blah, 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 I'm down, but don't let that get to you, just think positively and, stay positive and, keep going strong. And so by having that mindset and taking an opportunity that kind of was given to me, on accident, I was able to see that there was a big need in short-term rentals, especially Airbnb, which is a tried and tested platform, even in a city like Hattiesburg, Mississippi. So the direct results from the second week of having the Airbnb on live showed me that November, December was fully booked, and I was like, oh my God, there's definitely a need for this. So I took a couple other properties that I had and got it ready. It's a front-loaded business, so you have to kind of invest in the front end, really get the properties up to par with you don't want to be the best in your city. You want to be the best in the nation, because a lot of people that are coming to travel is they're not going to compare you to your Hattiesburg's Airbnbs. Of course, you don't want to be the best one not only in your local market but in the nation, because you're competing on a national level. So by having a really nice place with granite or nice furniture, a feeling that's cohesive, and really marketing it that way, each property having a good theme, it'll really help drive your success. But that's a whole nother thing. But so I was able to take one property, and then turn 3 more properties online and quickly ramp that up to 6 within a short amount of time, and be limited by how many nights were available. So I was hitting occupancy rate limits like right off the bat. I would open up a property and it would be fully booked. So I knew that there was a lot bigger market. So my focus was on opening up as many properties as quickly as possible to ramp up my business. And, in March, we had a really good month. It was our biggest month. So yeah, so that's kind of how we started indirectly. And now it's our primary focus.
I just want to clarify for the listeners, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, how many people would you say are in Hattiesburg?
I think in our actual city is probably close to 60,000, but outside of our city, the surrounding area is probably close to 75 to 85,000.
And I just pulled Hattiesburg up on the map, and there's really not much out there. It's not there's no beaches. It's not I
Yep.
think what's the closest major more metropolitan city?
Well, New Orleans is pretty. It's about an hour and 10 minutes away. It's southwest from us. We have Biloxi, which is below us, about 65, 70 miles, and then we have Mobile, which is about 80 miles southeast. So if you think about it, we're kind of like the hub city, and actually that's what we're called. So being the hub of major cities around us, we have a lot of people traveling through Hattiesburg. We have people going from Texas to Florida, from Atlanta to Texas, Nashville down to New Orleans. So we have a lot of people. I mean, I've had people from China fly down to see their son, daughter graduate. We have 1 medical school, 3 nursing programs, 2 universities, and 3 colleges. So that in itself is a big market. There's graduations, friends and family coming to visit, students who go here. So there's different, to kind of break it up, we have people coming through town 1 night, 2 night stays. Then we have people visiting their family members. We have weddings. This is a big wedding destination. I mean, I guess, I don't know what it is, but I mean, I know from my other company, which I have a media company, but I know that there's a big wedding videography kind of market here. So there's lots of weddings happening. So they use my place I have a larger property that can be subdivided into 2 units. So we have a lot of brides and grooms stay separately, and they have like a cool little fire pit area they can, hang out in. So a lot of weddings come through, just like all kinds of people. There's people who come in for work. If they're working for like 2 weeks, they'll ask and request now ahead of time, because they know it books up so quickly, my properties do, that they can get in there, stay here for work. So,
what I think is really really interesting and pretty amazing. You've only been really active in the short-term rental space since November 2018, so about 6 months now. You've scaled up to 6 properties. You're taking on 2 more. You've got an 81 to 88% occupancy. and you're in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, with a little town with 50,000 people.
Yeah.
How that's pretty amazing. How did you kind of
Yeah.
figure out like this was an untapped market? Like how have you been able to fill such a high
Yeah.
occupancy in such a low populated
Yeah.
area?
Well, that's a great question. So I can tell you what I am doing, because I've had that occupancy, pretty much from day one. So I don't know anything different, but I can tell you what I do to have that happen. Really, you just have to be connected to your neighborhood. You have to know the people, the amenities that your city can offer, because that's going to translate to a good hosting experience for the guests. When they come here, they don't want to just have a Holiday Inn experience. They don't want to have a Hilton. They don't even have, even the Marriott. We are even better than that. We're better than that. We are providing them a unique staying experience. And so when they come, even when they travel to a city like Hattiesburg, they're here. So they want to enjoy their time. They didn't think about tourism when they came here, but we want to make sure they leave with a good, experience, a unique experience. So being able to, know what to offer, we have, a couple of breweries here. We have a great downtown area. Our mayor is amazing. We're doing some really cool things, stimulating local businesses here. So you want to have like a connection with the local businesses, and you want to really reach out to them, let them know, hey, I have Airbnbs in the area. I want to do some type of partnership with you guys. So being able to give back to the community that way is a great thing. Also, as a host yourself, you're in the hospitality game. This is not a rental market anymore. This is not even, it's even more than a hospitality thing, because, when they come here, I write a personal note on a card. I keep it there. Well, I don't, but my cleaning crew does. So they're now part of the Airbnb team, where you can go through the app and actually assign a team. So they get bookings just like I do. As soon as somebody books, my cleaning crew also sees it. So they see how many people, the name on the reservation. So they have hand-drawn, handwritten notes that they leave for them. So like little things like that really makes them feel special. Like they're not just another guest. So you want to always onboard them with, so I have automated messages that I have in my app. As soon as they book, I send out, and it still feels like a natural message. So those little things that you do over and over and over again, the quality and the consistency is really, really key. So having that in place really did help keep a high occupancy rate even through the slow months.
I think that's really really unique about you, Amlan, is that you've taken like a small town that isn't looked at like I live in the DC area, so people come here because they want to see the monuments, they want to experience the food, the culture, and they want to travel and see destinations. So it's a different type of experience from someone that's staying at, like, let's say my unit or someone else's than compared to yours. But I think that's such really unique that you've been able to understand your market, understand the local businesses, and create an experience for someone. Like if I'm traveling to New Orleans and I need to stop somewhere, or I don't want to, spend a lot of money at a crazy expensive hotel, maybe I'll stay in Hattiesburg. But if I'm going there, it's like, how can I make this an experience? Everybody wants an experience. So you're offering that by creating an experience for people. And I think that's brilliant.
Absolutely. That's what the future of this business is going towards. Is, as you know, is Airbnb has a whole experience hosting element to it. So what that means eventually, as this business gets more solidified, and I'm still new. I want to have this thing going. I don't want to put my energy and focus too laterally yet, but that will come to where. Say if we're only an hour and a half from New Orleans, could you imagine them coming here, letting me take them out to a tour, because I know New Orleans like the back of my hand. Like, I mean, I love that city. It's my second city. So I can give them a tour. I'm a photographer. So I can go around, show them the different areas, have a photo shoot in different like cool locations, and then they bring them back to their house here in Hattiesburg. So that could be an experience that's like once in a lifetime, we have a great, like a tour, like a not a wine tour, but like a beer tour. Like, so we can take them to these different breweries and do like a, beer tasting. And then we can go see some nightlife. I have a lot of friends that are musicians here, so I can let them know who's playing, what time, where. So like I can offer that to them. So even though it's one night, maybe on a Wednesday night in Mississippi, but they're like, hey man, that band was really cool. And we went to that downtown place and we really had a great time. That brewery was amazing. So those are the things that you want to attach to the stay. So it's not really about, what type of sheets you have on your bed. That's important. People are so focused on, hey, what do I do? How do I optimize my business? How do I get fast drying sheets so I can lower my, my time that I spent with cleaners, reduce my costs? That's all important. But, when I started this business, I didn't know all that stuff. But I was still fully booked. Like, what's more important is what you give to the customer, what you give to the guest. How do they feel when they speak to you? Like, are you genuine? Are you trying to just get the most revenue per available night? Or like, are you trying to really, give them what they deserve? So once you flip that in your head and really focus on those elements, I really think that your business will skyrocket. And, I didn't know what I was going to do in life. Like, I have these different ideas and, different talents or different like things that I want to do, but it's so different. Each thing is so different. So sometimes I would feel like, am I going to really find what I'm good at? Like, am I going to really do something impactful? Like, so I finally feel like this with Airbnb is what I was kind of made to do because of all the different skill sets that I've acquired throughout my life and the values that my family has taught me, and how to treat people. And so now I'm really passionate about this, and I just want to kind of help other people be successful. So
no, I definitely resonate with that, and I think a lot of the listeners can definitely resonate when you're passionate about something. Like people that listen to this podcast and other podcasts, they binge. They just one episode after the next because they can't get enough. You love it. It's in your bones, and you're like, I have to do this. I have to learn and know more, because you're a different type of person. You're a person that you pour your energy into something, and people automatically, they understand that. So you're pouring your energy into your units, and sure, you want to optimize it. You want to make sure that you're getting the most bang for your buck, but you're not going to sacrifice that quality for the the service that you can provide. But that kind of comes naturally to you.
Absolutely. I think as long as you think about the customer, the guest, the person who you're serving, you're a servant. You have to think about yourself as a servant. You can't, you're not, of course you own the home, but, if you can think of yourself as giving to people, the universe will give back tenfold. So, yeah.
Very nice. And what has been the most challenging part of starting your short-term rental business?
Well, it's challenging because, you're putting in this money in the front end of the business. It's a very front-loaded business. So, getting that off the ground, buying more property, you have a note now, you have, your bottom line. Your bottom line keeps increasing, and you're hoping that your revenue will also do the same. It'll mirror it, or at least, grow even more, right? So those, moments of not knowing, and especially because when I'm buying a new property, I'm also doing a complete renovation to that property. And so I don't buy it turnkey. So along with, keeping this business going, the Airbnb business, keeping the, all the ratings high and like the guests happy on the side, I also have a construction business pretty much. I'm not a contractor, but I'm in there every single day, making sure my crew is working and getting things done on the next property that we're going to open up. So when I say it's a full-time job, it's a lot of stress, and because I don't have a big loan. So all the revenue that I'm getting is going straight back into the company to fix up, the tile, the backsplash, putting the granite in, putting the floors in, putting the lighting stuff, the decorations like this. And like you have to put in the money in the front end, and you have to also make sure like all your workers are getting paid, all the cleaners are getting paid. You have 11 properties. You have to make sure the lights are paid. So it's a lot of little responsibilities that you don't think about on top of being a good host. And so that is the hardest thing, is scaling and retaining your quality. So if you can do those two things, and it gets easier because you have to know which elevator you want to get off of. Like, this thing is scalable to your dreams. Like, where you want to go is where this business can take you. And also, you have to know that you can't put all your eggs in one basket. So you can't go all in on one type of like funnel, which is Airbnb is a funnel. So you need to diversify as well. So creating a brand along with creating your properties is very crucial. So you can side load some of these repeat customers onto another platform that you can build yourself. Will definitely lower your risk. This diversification, so you're lowering your risk because you're not, limiting yourself by Airbnb telling you what your revenue is going to be in the future. Or if something happens to Airbnb's platform, you're not completely screwed because you have side loaded a lot of these guests onto your own your platform. So those are things we need to think of as we grow our business, is how to lower our risks, because you don't want to go all in on one thing. So think about, you own all these properties. If the market collapses or something happens, you have to pay for all your, notes. So you have to pay for your mortgages. You have to pay for all the debt that you have. So is it good to have 20 mortgages and all be relied on short-term rentals? I don't think so. We should go do some more rental arbitrage stuff, which I'm not sure if a lot of the listeners probably know what it is, but we want to increase our revenue and have revenues coming from multiple sources. That way we can, even through the hard times, we can pay for our mortgage and everything.
So what made you want to dive into the owning and flipping? Because that is a lot of work. I did renovations on my basement and dealing with the contractor, and it's a lot of work. You have to manage. It's like you have employees, even though you don't technically think of them like employees. They are your employees. So why did you go the purchase and renovate model for your 6 properties?
Well, how I acquire properties is very unique, and this market where I'm at allows me to do that. So you have to think, okay, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, right? It's a small town, but the market price for properties here is amazing. Like, I can come here and spend, 30 to 50,000 on a property, and I'm talking about a 3-2 or a 4-2. Like 4-bedroom, 2 bathrooms, like nice 1,800 square foot, 1,500 square foot home, and be able to put in another 30 to 40,000 and get a property that's, first of all, now we have great amount of equity in it. So we can take that equity out and put it into another property. So by doing that, I've been able to scale this business a lot quicker. Of course, my family is a big, big portion of this. Like, my dad and my mom, they've been doing real estate since I was a kid. So I've learned a lot from my mother, a lot from my father about how to do this, how to scale this business, and how to take, a lot of the stuff that I take for granted, people have to learn. And I don't know that, when I'm telling my story, because I feel like most people know how to do that. But, you buy a property and then you put money in it, and hopefully you'll have equity. So it's worth more than what you have in it. And that difference, sometimes the bank will allow you to take out and use that as a down payment on another property. So by doing that, I've been able to kind of scale this. And another whole side of this is, like, think about it like you're building this from the bottom, like internally out. Like if I were to buy a turnkey property, it's not going to have the character that I want in it. Like when I do a renovation, I'm talking about we gut it. Like the walls are off all it is a frame on the outside. We paint it, we put it up, we take walls down, we open it up. Like we know what we're going to do from the very beginning. We don't buy the property unless we know it's going to be ready for it. It's Airbnb ready. So once we do that, I think we have a better product. We're able to give the customer something that's ours and we're passionate about it. So that's actually, I prefer to do it that way. But you don't want to, again, buy all these properties and have all this, debt. So it's great. The revenue's coming. It's amazing. But you want to also have some rental arbitrage to kind of supplement it. And I'm working with some local landlords that I trust and I know them very well to kind of renovate their homes and do a profit share between me and them. So I think that would be a good way to do it as well. With some rental arbitrage to kind of mix up the balance a little bit.
And what would you say would be the preferred model for someone? Let's say they don't have 30, 40,000 to put into a home to be able to renovate and to make it their own. What would you say to the types of people that do want to get into the Airbnb space and have property but can't afford that?
What I would recommend is if they can purchase one home. Okay, so start off with one home, and also look at if you already have a home yourself. If you already have a home yourself, get an appraisal on it. See what the price is for. There's two ways to do an appraisal. You can do a subject to appraisal, which means subject to the upgrades, they'll give you a value, and the bank will give you 80 to 90% of that value to you, and you can do what you want with that cash. You can make the renovations for cheaper and take that money out to put it down on another property. Or if this is your first home, I'm only talking about buying homes, right? So if you don't have that 30 to 40,000 to renovate the home, find a home that's way below. Don't look for $100,000 house, $80,000 house. Look for something that needs a lot of work. It's scary. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, I would just try to find, a house that's a turnkey house and just go into that. But if you feel like you can do it and you have that experience of renovating homes and flipping homes or whatever, I would look for that first home that has a good bit of built-in equity from the beginning, or find a house that's 40, 50, 60,000. And you tell the bank, okay, look, this is the list of renovations I'm going to do. Can I do a subject to appraisal? So when you do that, that allows you to, they're going to say, okay, based on all these upgrades, your $60,000 purchase price home will be valued at $110,000. Okay, great. So the bank will give you 80 to 90% of that as a loan. Okay, so then, well, think about it this way. You still have to pay that $80,000 to $90,000 note. So you have to think about affordability. Okay, so when you take that out, you take that money, put it back in. So you're using the bank's money to renovate the house. So when you fix up that house, think about what the guests want. Keep a little bit of that budget for furniture, for TV, for appliances, for kitchen stuff like pots and pans. And so once you've done that, then you have something that you can take pictures with on your iPhone, work with the lights a little bit, make it nice. If you can afford a photographer to come in, do some wide angle pictures, do that. Probably going to cost you about $250 to do that. And then take those pictures, put it on your listings, and choose a really nice, clean image that gives you the best first impression on your home. So whatever the features that you're proud of, doesn't have to be the outside of the home. It could be the kitchen. It could be the large king size bed. So take that picture, use that as the featured image, and then have every image after that something completely different. So you don't want like big image, different angle of the same room, because the customer has to scroll through those pictures. So you want to have something completely different for each one of those first 10 images. And then also your title has to be very, very catchy, very, you don't want to say clean or like quiet neighborhood. You want to describe the property as a brand. So when they think about it, they'll know, oh, that's that house. And then the description, you want to use as much characters as possible. Like, you don't want to just put like bullet points. You want to tell a story. So you want to tell a story about when they get here, what their experience is going to be. That's where you can describe the quiet neighborhood. You don't want that to be your title. Like, your title is going to be your brand. The description will tell the story, which will give you key features that are selling points of your home. And then you can repeat some good amenities that nobody else has in your listing. And then just have clear, sharp, high definition pictures. And just kind of test the market to see, where your average nightly price should be. And then kind of, if you're automatically getting 100% book occupancy, you want to increase your nightly rate, right? You want to kind of be about 80%. That's, I think, to me, the sweet spot of the most revenue per available night is about 80% occupancy, because you're at that sweet spot of nightly price, nightly rate, and occupancy. So you can make the most revenue that way.
I think that all very really good tips and advice. I really like that one thing that you said about doing the subject to appraisal. I don't know if you're familiar with like Bigger Pockets, and they have this thing Brandon Turner calls the BRRRR Method, which is buy, remodel, refinance, repeat, I believe is what it's called. And but yours is kind of like the complete BRRRR. It's like buy, remodel, refinance, and then furnish it and then repeat it,
exactly.
Because you're not just taking the equity out once it's all fixed, but you're also making money off of that, because you also included in your subject to appraisal the cost of furnishing, which can be expensive. Could be for a 4-bedroom could be up well over $5,000. So I mean,
absolutely. Also look into this is also how well do you know your town? So I'm friends with a furniture store's owner. I mean, it's not just a furniture store; it's a salvage place. So I buy a lot of my furniture from there. Like, literally, they know us by name. Like, they tell us what they have, and we go in there and we're like, okay, we need bunk beds. We need 3 king size beds, 4 queens. We need so we just tell them what we need. They have everything ready. So when we go there, we're looking at it. We're like, okay, we just put a sold sticker on each one of these things and we go. But we know that we don't have to haggle. We don't have to hassle. We don't have to, we know that this is a salvage place where it's like smoke damaged furniture, but you can't tell at all. Like, it's brand new. Like, just for insurance sakes, they had to liquidate that, that store. So all this furniture comes into these salvage places. Go and find those deals. You don't have to go and spend, $1,500 on a couch. You don't have to spend couches that I buy, it's like $200, $300. Like a bed, like a king size bed, the whole set, like the dresser drawer, everything with the mirror and the side night tables and the bed and the mattress for like $1,500. So you got to go out there and find those deals, because you want to decrease your bottom dollar so you can have that revenue, So, but yeah, I mean, that's some advice I can give.
And what do you do to set your units apart? Are there a lot of other people competing in the Hattiesburg area that have kind of realized it's kind of like a good market to be in? How have you been able to compete against the hotels and the other competition?
So I think that your competition is not necessarily other Airbnbs, because you want to tell everybody about Airbnbs. You want to let other people know that Airbnbs are a thing. So you just have more opportunity for, if it's known, more and more known that this is a thing, you're indirectly going to get more revenue. That's my view on it. And if you help others with this business, the universe will give it back. That may sound like, oh, you're just optimistic, but no, it really will. You will make connections, you'll make friends in this industry. If they're fully occupied, they're going to refer you. So you have a network of people. If I'm fully booked, I give my, my guests over to Mike, one of my best friends. He's the one who told me about Airbnb. He's the guy who's like, hey, you know what? check out Airbnb, put your house on Airbnb, see how it does. He told me about it. And so now I mean, I'm successful, but what if I didn't know about it? So could you imagine like a lot more people having like, cause you have to always be the best of the competition. So if you're scared of that, you shouldn't be in this business, because you should be proud to say that I have the best properties. So it doesn't matter if you have more competition around. If you're the best, then who cares, right? So just have that mindset. Indirectly, you're going to get more business by spreading the word about Airbnb. So don't think, oh, I have to keep this a secret. No, your competition is the hotel game, like the hotel businesses. So that's who you're competing against. We want to give our guests a unique experience. How do you set yourself apart by like knowing your city, knowing the assets of your city, knowing that, hey, Midtown area is really cool. They have loud music, they have great bars, great restaurants. Like you can offer that. Like, even though, like, when they go stay at a hotel, they're not going to give them all that information. You have to go to the front desk and ask them. But over here, it's like a unique thing, because they arrive with a handwritten note. You have any questions, you see a little guidebook that tells you about the city. If you have any questions or recommendations, you can call the owner of the house, which is me, and I can even give them a tour of the city. Like, so they can't have that at a hotel. So that's what we want to do, is we want to give that experience to the guests.
No, that's really, really key, is like competition. You definitely you want to stand out. You want to stand out amongst the crowd. Against the other people that are listing their properties. But you're really trying to make yourself stand out and be an individual, because you're offering a different service than what the hotel companies can offer. And you're able to do that through finding these unique propositions, allowing people to contact you if they have any questions, giving them that guidebook that recommends places that you've personally been to and that you have good relationships with, and maybe discounts and stuff like that.
Yep,
so
absolutely. I think that's a great, I'm glad you see that, because, a lot of people don't realize that when they get here, they don't know about your city. They don't know that Hattiesburg has all these different things. They just know, hey, it's a stop for me between my route from Texas to Florida. But, when they leave, they'll have that unique experience, and they'll be like, that city, Hattiesburg, it's pretty cool. It's small. It's not, Houston. It's not Atlanta. It's not DC. But, they have everything you want in a small place, and it's more convenient that way. I don't have to fight 1 hour of rush hour traffic to get from one side of the city to the other. Like, it's right here. It's great. So that's the experience you want to leave your customers with.
So going back to setting your units apart, so the other people that are listing their properties, what are you doing specifically to kind of make your property stand out amongst the rest?
Well, you have to be able to catch their attention, like right off the bat. Like, you want them to see your property and be like, okay, when they're scrolling, wow, that pops. So maybe, don't Photoshop your images to look better than they are, but make sure that you have good lighting. You have no gimmicks, like putting, asterisks and exclamation marks, and, no, don't do that. Just have a clean listing that has good angles. So the angles, you want to make sure that you have the top and at least 2 walls and a good wide angle. And what that does, it sets the base of every image. Like, so it holds that image down. So when you're looking for angles, you want to provide a good wide angle. Sometimes you might have to step away outside of the door to get into, as long as you don't see the door frame, but get as wide as you can to see that whole home, right? You want to show them how large it is, because through a regular camera, it crops in a lot. So it actually looks a lot smaller than it really is. And also expectation versus reality. So the closer those two things are, the more successful you're going to be. So when they see your property from 600 miles away and they're booking, they expect something. And so when they get here, if their reality is different, you're going to have problems. You're not going to have happy guests. You want that difference to be as close as possible. You want it to be, my goodness, like it looks exactly like a lot of my comments, a lot of my reviews say that. They're like, Amlan was a great host and his properties look exactly like the pictures. And so that is very crucial. And even down to the type of bed sheets. Now this is getting into optimization. So how do you make sure that when they get there, they feel like it's at home and they want to, it's like when you go to McDonald's, right? You know exactly where the McDonald's counter is, where the fry machine is, you know, where the burgers come out. You want to shop more there because, where you want to spend more money there because it's natural. So the same thing. Well, that's when I create every single one of my properties have the same exact gray color. And the turquoise and these color schemes that I have, it repeats throughout all my properties. So first of all, that lowers your cost because you don't have to buy and keep up with all these different paints. You have the same exact paint palette. You have the same color structure. So when you're out there shopping for furniture, you know what you're doing. Like, so as you hone in on your look and you want to stand apart. Like we have a beach house in Biloxi. So every other beach house over there is like, you know, the seashells on the wall and like the mahi, you know, the dolphin fish on the, you know, like it's like the same exact look. It's just played out. So on that one, I did something completely different. I went super glam and like a posh kind of look. So I call it the glam and posh beach house, or the posh and glam beach house. Sorry, that's what it is. And so when you look at it, it's like the silvers and it's got the chrome. And it sounds gaudy, but it does really work though. It's not gaudy at all because it's cohesive. Like, so it has crystal chandelier coming into the view in one of the pictures. So it has like a really different look than every other property that's down there. That's a beach house. So you want to know your market and see how you can scale up. And by having a more luxury oriented property on the beach, you can, you know, raise your price a little bit higher. So I'm a little bit higher than all the other properties there. But guess what? That house is 90% booked, 90% occupancy. And I'm okay with that because I don't want to raise my revenue anymore on that one. I want to give an affordable stay, luxury affordable stay, right on the beach, right next to the casinos. And I'm able to do that with the Biloxi property. Switching gears to Hattiesburg. Why don't we go with a more beachy, more like a resort look over here in Hattiesburg? Because everything else over here is, you know, the standard cookie cutter Airbnb. So over here, like one of my properties, I have the hanging, you know, Christmas lights kind of draped over in the courtyard. I have a fire pit. It's a gas fire pit. And it just makes it look like a resort. So it allows somebody to be like, man, this looks really cool. Like it's different, you know, like, so I'm passionate about exterior spaces as well as interior spaces, because your exterior space has to really pull people outside to have conversations and stimulate, you know, people meeting each other. So it's a multi-unit Airbnb. So I have 3 Airbnbs with a localized, that's all the lights go from each Airbnb into one fire pit in the middle. So it allows people to come converge and talk and meet and greet each other. And it's really cool. So I've been able to give that type of experience in a small city in Hattiesburg, and where everybody else is on the beach over there, I've been able to give a really glamorous and nice posh area, which is my beach house. So you have to kind of know the market and stand out.
Yeah, and I think you know, kind of the big key takeaway from what you're saying is, you know, you want to be original. You want to spice it up. When people are scrolling through the feeds and looking for properties, you know, if everybody's just seeing cookie cutter, you know, same house, and bad quality image, bad pictures, you want to have the best pictures. You want to have the big open space, because that's truly what your place is. And then you also want to throw in there, you know, a property that is, you know, decorated, very unique. You know, if everybody else is doing seashells, then you're throwing in posh seashells. You know, it's very cool. Very cool. What would you do differently if you had to start from scratch?
Well, I don't think I would do anything differently, but I would be more careful on my bottom dollar and create scalable growth. So like in the beginning, I was trying to save money, or hire some, like clean myself, or as quickly you can ramp up the business to where it's automated and it's hands free and you can scale, the better. The first couple of months, it happened so quickly. We were trying to survive and trying to keep this business like, profitable and the quality control up to our standards, right? So we weren't even thinking about like optimization and how to, make this automated and how you can leverage your time to really build a business if you have teams in place to handle other tasks. So those are the things that now that I know, that I would start on day one. So if I can advise people to research a cleaning crew, how to find a cleaning crew that's willing to go in there and know that they're not gonna charge you $100 to clean. Tell them it's going to be volume based, that we're going to scale up. I want this to be a long-term partnership. Those are the key words you want to use with these people, that they know that you're not just going to hire them and drop them. Like, this is a long-term thing. So they'll consistently, as you add more and more properties and as your business grows, so you have more and more occupancy, they're going to have more cleanings coming. So in the beginning, you might say, okay, so let's do this. The first couple of properties will be a little bit more because we're not going to have higher volume. But as this volume thing picks up, let's go from $75 per cleaning to $50 per cleaning. And we'll give you all the cleanings. We'll sign a contract. We're not going to do these cleanings. Even if it's one, you guys will do it. So it's a trust thing, right? And set up ways to pay your partners without you having to give them cash or a check. Like, set up a Venmo account, set up the Cash App, set up Stripe. Or with Stripe, you can do automatic payments. Set it up, automate your business from the beginning. And then once the things so you can focus on the branding. So you can focus on the things that will get you more nightly bookings, So you're not over here cleaning, or you're not over here trying to pay your crew. Like, you can be in one spot and handle your business. And I think that is what I would change. And I am that way now, but I mean, that's always optimization. Like, just like you're optimizing your business, you have to optimize your processes and how you work. So I think as you automate the whole process from start to finish, you can spend more time on growing your business.
And going off of that, is there any product or tool that has saved you money and time that you couldn't live without?
Yeah, so I was using Properly as an app, but I think it costs like $10 per listing. But now that Airbnb has the whole team functionality, I don't know if you guys know this, it's amazing. Like, just you have to have the desktop version up and go into your settings and go to teams, and you can actually assign team members and give them responsibilities. Like, you can have how much they can be just like you, just as a co-host with everything you do, they can do, or you can set limits to what they can do. And so what I do is I set up just the basic one, which is they can only see their schedule, who's, the calendar, like who's booking, how many people, and the check-in, check-out time. So that allows them to kind of plan, like the cleaning company, plan how many sheets extra, how many towels extra, what type of snacks to put out, and what the note needs to be, the personalized message needs to be to who. So all those things are automated. I don't have to deal with it. So before I was the first one I started, I was screenshotting my phone and text messaging my cleaners, hey, this is the person, this is what time they check in. But it wasn't scalable. Could you imagine doing that, screenshotting and sending it out to people? And if you missed it, it's on you. You didn't want to drop the ball at all. So you want to train those individuals to be able to go and read, the calendar, because now it's every time I get a booking, they get a notification instantly. So that's one less thing you have to worry about. But yeah, I think that was your question, right?
Right. And so from the team view, is that kind of eliminate the need for apps like Turnover B&B?
Yes, absolutely. And I haven't even used Turnover B&B. I'm sure it's a great service, but I don't want to lower my cost again. I don't know if Turnover B&B has a monthly fee or not, but probably. And so you want to lower that, but you want to make it as instant as possible. And if you have less of the middleman, less likely there's going to be a technical issue that's going to cause you to have uncleaned property when they arrive, or so it's just less hassle, you know? So look for those shortcuts to where you can direct them. The shorter the distance between A and B, the less likely that you're going to have, you know, a missed opportunity or something that happens that, you know, adversely affects your business. So yeah, so that's really what I do. I go everything through Airbnb.
Okay, right on. Is there anything that you do that has helped your guests leave positive reviews?
Yourself and, you know, what you do, of course. But, you know, as soon as they leave, it asks you, how did this guest do? So go ahead and review them right then and there, because that will give them a notification to also review back, right? And so also I have an automated check-in process. Like, so I save my messages. Like, you know how you can save like a draft of different things that you like frequently asked questions. So I save all those responses as saved responses. So as soon as I get a booking, I hit thanks for booking, you know, my little script, you know, you're going to get, you know, we value, you know, you as a guest and your experience is very important to us. You know, you're going to get a door code the date of arrival. We have Wi-Fi, you know, all this, you know, just a canned message, right? At the very end of it, it says, you know, we look forward to earning your 5-star review. So you're kind of programming them, you know, indirectly to leave you that 5-star review. I mean, of course you have to live up to that as a host, but now it's holding both of you guys accountable. You want the 5-star review, so you're going to do what you can to make that happen, that experience happen for the guests. And the guests, 99% of the time, will leave you that 5-star review.
So after they review, you just send them, you leave them a review right away and just kind of hope that they review you back? Or is there anything that you do specifically?
I know there's opportunities out there for third-party software that reminds them to leave you a review and all that. But honestly, I haven't had to do that. Like, it's just a little bit more complex. That's adding complexity to your business. I just haven't had a reason to do that so far. I mean, I have 90% of my customers leave me a review, and out of that, 90% of those people leave me a 5-star review. So,
wow.
Yeah, I haven't had a problem.
Okay. And is there any particular products that you use in your units that you absolutely have to have? Like maybe it's a door lock or a particular type of, you know, that quick drying sheet or something?
Yes, absolutely. So what I do, I put Nest cams up on the outside of my house. So I make it very obvious there is a camera looking at you when you walk in. People might say, oh, that's weird. That's going to make me feel weird. Well, it's not. Like, I have that, you know, if you have to disclose that, you know, of course, no inside cameras, but on the outside, you have to let them know where your camera's at, right? So what that allows them to do, like, I even put in the listing, I have 24/7 video, you know, outside for your protection and for, you know, just general questions you may have. You can even communicate with me through that. But it allows me to check occupancy, who's coming in, if they're like, because I charge per person in my listings, and they're not having like 20 people walk through my door when they only had 2 people in the booking. So it allows me to see who's coming in. And that's very, very crucial for me, because after you scale this business, you want to be able to see like a snapshot of all your properties. So, excuse me, I have, you know, right now I'm working with 6 properties, opening up 3 more this year, opening up 1 next week. So being able to, you know, see a snapshot of everything is very, very, it's like a peace of mind. So I definitely recommend the Nest cams.
That's good. That's good. If you could give one piece of advice to someone who's trying to start their Airbnb business, what would that be?
I would know that this is a full-time commitment. Okay. So you have to tell yourself, okay, well, it's not, the money sounds great. You know, you can get 3 times as much rent as you can out of just a regular tenant. But this is a long-term commitment for you and the guests, because these guests are booking your property to have, I mean, it's a peace of mind, especially when you have instant book on. They're going to instant book your place and know that they're going to get a quality that they deserve and they're used to with Airbnb. Are you ready to provide that? And if you're not, I wouldn't do the business, because I like doing that. Like, I'm passionate about it. I want to give that to my guests. And you really have to know that this isn't something that you just get into and then you get out, because you'll have bookings And if you decide to cancel and you don't want to do Airbnb anymore, well, those bookings will be canceled, and you're gonna, you might ruin somebody's graduation. You don't know like why they booked your place, and so you have to give it to your guests. They deserve when they book your place to have that experience. And if you're not ready to do it, then don't do it.
No, that's great. Yeah, lots of people they build their whole plans, their whole trip, their whole experience around your unit, your place that you're offering. And then if you decide like, hey, I'm not going to provide that quality service, well, maybe you just ruin someone's whole trip, their graduation or an experience, and that that kind of rests on your hands. Is there one house rule that has saved you before?
So one area of growth I should probably do is assign stricter house rules, but I haven't had any problems except twice. They had a family reunion, and they had over 40, 50 people at my house, and it took me like 2 to 3 days to clean my property. Lost a lot of revenue on that. But I would say the Nest Cam, when I added the Nest Cam, and I've told them, hey, like from the beginning, what's the reason of your trip? And they only have one. So red flags. They live in your city, but they want to have a get together at your property in the same city, and they just booked it like today, the day of, or the night before. It's a red flag. Watch out for those red flags. Make sure that it's legit, and ask them, call them up when they book it. Call them. It's like, hey, I'm glad you booked. This is Amlan, your Airbnb host. Can you tell me a little bit about what's going on and the reason for your booking? And so when they tell you, you have to be able to, sniff out those, party throwers or, So just by experience, I would definitely watch out for those.
Okay. And where do you see short-term rentals in the future?
I think this is going to be widely adopted pretty quickly, just like Uber has been. And I think market share wise, we just surpassed all of Hilton in the United States. So we, as Americans, spend more money on Airbnb stays than we do at the Hilton. So that's mind blowing to me. And the ramp, the curve going upwards is catching up to Marriott, which is number one right now. So I think the next year, 2 years, will be the number one way to stay and travel. So I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I think you need to be careful about local bylaws and kind of work with them. Go to the city and make sure that you guys can do that in your area, because you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket and then them change a local bylaw to where you can't do Airbnb in your market. So it's better to have a place that already has those laws in place and you're working with the local laws. And as long as you're doing that and you're scaling and you're automating the business, I think, it's where you want to get off, man. It's like the sky's your limit. You don't have, think big, dream, and be able to scale this business to where you want it to be. And you can do anything you want to with Airbnbs.
Well, I'm really excited to see where you're going to be going, Amlan, and I hope that I'm sure that your units and your aspirations are going to take you well outside of Hattiesburg. But I think you're doing great things in Hattiesburg right now. Is there any way that people can reach you if they have any questions or wanted to know more?
Sure, absolutely. You can email me at Amlan, AMLAN. That's Amlan, my first name, AMLAN at Mitra Properties. So MITRA, mitraproperties.com. That's my email address. And pretty soon I'm going to have a website for yourstr.com. And that's going to be my future project of like consultation and doing some helping people optimizing their company, their Airbnb. So look forward to that. And
of course, and I'll put everything in the show notes. I'll put put your site when it comes available. Just send me an email, and I'll include your email and also your listings, guys. Check out Amlan's listings. Look at look at the quality of his properties, just see the level that he's able to provide and how he's able to stand out, because there's a lot that you can learn from just looking at the properties of the hosts that are on the show and seeing what they're doing, because they lay it all out there and it's available for you if you want to take bits and pieces here and there to kind of make your listing better. That's the beauty of Airbnb, is it's a open platform, and we're all here to help each other. So,
and Julian, please feel free to link any of my properties or anything like that in the description so people can see that. I'm an open book. Any type of questions you have, feel free to call me or text me.
Definitely, I'll do that. And it was a great pleasure. Thank you so much, Amlan, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to educate the listeners and help out the host nation. Until next time, hosts, keep on hosting. Hope you hosts benefited from the show. If you found value, please go on over to iTunes or Stitcher, leave a review, and let us know what you enjoy about the show. If you'd like to talk to the hosts that have been featured in these episodes, as well as the host nation, then go on over to our Facebook group, Short-Term Rental Success Secrets. Talk to you hosts in the next episode. Keep on hosting.